Gensler, who's the director of the SEC, testifies in front of the House Finance Subcommittee. Ben Armstrong, known as Bitboy Crypto, has officially been arrested. And the last thing that we're going to go over is what is Ripple's proper party that they're holding in New York City today. Make sure you guys tune in all the way to the end of this video to find out all the details. Hey guys, it's Ryan with Big Dog Investing. Thank you guys for tuning into my channel. If you guys could do a couple of things for me. If you guys can go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to my channel if you guys have not done so already. Click the bell notification down below so YouTube can send you guys notifications whenever I release videos. Watch my videos all the way to the end. And if you guys could share my videos and share my channel with anyone, I'm trying to grow my channel as much as I can, and I definitely need your guys' help in doing so. Getting started, today's me a late Friday, September 29th. The total market cap for all cryptocurrency right now is $1.08 trillion. This is a decrease of 0.10%. The fear and greed index right now, we were currently at a 42. Earlier on in the week, we were at a 34. Bitcoin did have a nice come up, and we were also up in the total market cap about $0.04 trillion. So that did help with the fear and greed index. Bitcoin right now is currently trading between 26 and 27,000. Currently $26,958. Ethereum $1,676, and XRP right now at 51.72 cents. Now, before Ripple's proper party announcement, or before it started, XRP was trading roughly about 51 cents. We did go up all the way up to 54.5 cents roughly. And then since we've gone back down, we're still roughly about 1 cent over where we were when we started. So it's still good. But overall, again, buy the rumor, sell the news. So we knew that the proper party was going to be going on, and Brad Garlinghouse was supposed to make an announcement there. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Getting into the biggest gainers and the losers on the day today, CHZ is going to be our biggest gainer, 8.8% increase. We got LDO 4.7%. We got FTM 4.5%, and a nice one that I enjoy is Link 4.3%. Biggest losers on the day, RLB down 4.5%. We got XRD is going to be down 3.8%, and then FRAX down 2.4%. Overall, though, about 50-50 right now, just because we're so close to that 0% gain and loss. Getting into our news, though, there's a report that came out that, one of the, we won't say their names, but the son of somebody who's in power right now received a wire transfer of roughly about $250,000 from foreign nationals, and did list his dad's house in Delaware as the beneficiary. So it's kind of interesting to see what's going on with everything, especially with the elections coming up here pretty quick. And then again, to deflect the news, because obviously whenever something bad comes out, Trump's been basically caught with fraud. Supposedly, a judge ruled that his Mar-a-Lago property from 2011 to 2021 was roughly about 18 to 27 million dollars. And supposedly Trump overvalued this by saying it was worth a lot more. But to put it into perspective, we have a bunch of properties over here, roughly 18 million over here, 23, 25. And then the judge said that even though that these are these property lines, that the Trump's Mar-a-Lago over here should be roughly about $18 million as well, even though that some of these houses are worth more than what the whole property and hotel stuff is. Again, just a deflection of the news, just trying to shift the blame, in my opinion, or shift your eyes in another direction. But look at this right here. You guys can read this right here. But somebody in power says that a certain community will suffer if the government shutdown occurs. We're currently in a tie right now just to kind of figure out what's going to happen with our government. It's 50-50 if we're going to have a shutdown. Basically, no one wins in this, and basically the Republicans and Democrats are both to blame in this, in my opinion. They keep on saying that they each are holding each other hostage, but the only people that are really going to suffer are the American people. And obviously, they only have one job. If I didn't go to my work and didn't do what I was supposed to be doing as a high school teacher, I wouldn't have my job. So obviously, they need to figure it out. Moving on. Right here, 60 Minutes discovered that the U.S. is financing more weapons in this certain country. You guys all know what we're talking about. The government is also buying seeds and fertilizer for the farmers there, paying the salaries of the 57,000 first responders, and subsidizing small businesses. So while we're currently trying to figure out if we're going to have a government shutdown, our government is currently paying the salaries for these individuals and also subsidizing small businesses while the American people are hurting. Again, a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. Inflation's at an all-time high. We have a bunch of people, all-time gas prices, trying to switch from gas-powered vehicles to electric-powered vehicles. There's so much going on with our economy right now, and again, our government is paying for other things. Again, we sent over a lot of money. This was kind of interesting, and I kind of enjoy this, so I wanted to put it in here. But the IRS has just issued a new law that will crack down on ticket scalpers who make more than $600 off ticket resales on sites such as Ticketmaster. If you made more than $600, you will now be required to report this to the IRS, or you guys will face the full extent of the law. Now, in my opinion, I don't know what the full extent of the law is. We'll see if they actually do this, but in my opinion, you have a bunch of bots that can go in and buy a bunch of stuff. So I do agree with having this going on, and especially we need Ticketmaster and all these other like StubHub to stop and combat these bots from buying all the tickets. Especially we saw this with a lot of the Taylor Swift concerts. HSBC customers, we are delighted to announce that HSBC users are eligible to pay for their mortgage, bills, and loans with cryptocurrencies through FCF Pay. So just showing that digital assets right now and digital currencies are thriving, and we see banks doing this. You can start paying for your mortgage now. HSBC is really small, especially here in the United States. But again, this is just starting the adoption. It takes a little bit. We need more small businesses and smaller banks to start this and then see that it actually is beneficial. And then the bigger banks will jump on board, in my opinion. The largest Microsoft leak in history shows documents that they are bringing crypto wallets to Xbox. Um, in my opinion, I'm super bullish on this, especially because we can see digital assets playing a huge role, especially with the micropayment transactions, especially with like stuff for Epic Games, Fortnite. You see a bunch of skins being bought. If you can start buying stuff with cryptocurrencies, this will be really great. And obviously, a company like Microsoft is going to try to profit as much as they can. So I do see this as a positive. Now, the SEC raises concerns on Coinbase's role in the Celsius network bankruptcy restructuring. The SEC filed papers raising objections to crypto firm Celsius Network's plan to distribute digital assets to customers as part of reorganization's plan. In my opinion, so basically, Celsius is trying to figure out how to pay the customers back for the money that were essentially lost. And the SEC is like, nah, we're not going to allow you to do that. So Paul Grewal, he's the chief legal officer over at Coinbase, says Coinbase is proud to engage with Celsius to distribute crypto back to its customers. I wonder why the SEC object to a trusted U.S. public company taking a role on this. We look forward to addressing this bankruptcy court and undertaking our important role to make Celsius customers whole. I 100% agree with this. They're just trying to give the people back their money. But obviously, the SEC doesn't care about your average investor, they only care about the big fish. New FOIA request for former SEC Chair Clayton Communications. Again, this is the whole ETH gate, so we're going to see what comes out of this. But if you guys look, we can see some big names on this list: Jay Clayton, Jasmine Burgers, John Deal Costneo, Joshua Barlow, Theodore Antonos, Alan Ed Lynn Howard, Jeffrey Taylor Grant, Tamara Peters, Vanessa Ann Williams, Aaron Laundrie, and David Portnoff. Again, this is a lot of information that we're going to see what happens with this request. We'll see if they actually comply with it, especially with the House Finance Committee trying to figure some stuff out, and they didn't receive some of their stuff that they've requested for over 7 months and still haven't gotten it. Now, some then not so bullish news: Bank West makes new conditions for credit card users. They're going to start canceling your guys' credit cards if you guys bank with Bank West. Cancellations for electronic access can include if a user seeks to make a payment to an account which we reasonably believe may be owned or controlled by a cryptocurrency or digital asset exchange. And then if we reasonably consider that there have been unsatisfactory account options, including conduct that is, in our opinion, deflammatory, harassing, threatening, promotes and encourages physical, mental harm, promotes violence against other people. So basically, they can do whatever they want to here. And then if you try to get into crypto, they're going to do what they want here. In my opinion, this is just ridiculous. Bank West, terrible. Never bank with them. Again, no financial advice, but totally inappropriate behavior from UK Chase. This is their UK only, in my understanding, but our policy around crypto is changing. From 16 October 2023, if you think about you're making a payment related to crypto assets, we'll decline it. If you're still you'd still like to invest in crypto assets, you can try using a different bank or provider instead, but please be cautious as you may not be able to get the money back if the payment ends up being related to fraud or scam. Now, again, this is again terrible in my opinion. We're coming up to the Bitcoin halving cycle next year. And I do see again these big fish right here, these big banks trying to stop your average person from being able to get into this. Again, no financial advice, but this is nuts. Ben informed the police that his gun was in the car with his mistress. So this is Ben Bitboy Armstrong or Bitboy Crypto, Ben Armstrong. So this is him right here, hands up. Basically, he's getting patted down by the police, saying that he brought his mistress. She's in the car. She has the gun. And in my opinion, I think this is completely ridiculous. He ended up going in front of somebody's house that was part of Hit Network and basically called the cops and said, "Yeah, he's threatening me and doing all this, threatening to, choose violence and stuff like that and, unalive him and stuff like that." It's complete BS. He gets arrested right here. Here's the confirmation. Ben Armstrong, known as Bitboy, has officially been locked away in jail, as confirmed by local sheriffs in Georgia. He live streamed the incident. I watched about 20 minutes. It was roughly about 37 minutes long, which he attempted to steal a Lamborghini from his ex business partner with his mistress, whom he cheated on with his wife, all while being armed with a gun and under the influence of narcotics. Law enforcement authorities also discovered illegal narcotics in his vehicle. He's trying to sell a bunch of stuff. I feel bad for the guy. But moving on, though, hopefully he figures it out. MicroStrategy acquired an additional 5,445 Bitcoin for $147.3 million. So all of his averaging, if you guys dollar cost average all of his Bitcoin, roughly about $27,053. Now, he could not sell all of his Bitcoin at one time or the company itself at one time. Otherwise, it would drastically drop the price and he would lose out on a bunch of money, but he's right now close to his average. He's roughly about $100 away per Bitcoin. But he does see a huge future with Bitcoin, especially with the halving cycle coming up. The CEO of Coinbase says the crypto lobbying needs to be bolstered before the upcoming 2024 election. And I honestly think it will. I think 2024 is going to be huge for crypto. We got the halving cycle. 2025, in my opinion, again, no financial advice, I see us having the nice bull run for cryptocurrency. We're going to see record highs, in my opinion. But wake up, Hit Network employees. Your new boss is a criminal. He's been posting a lot of this stuff. Bitboy has. Sorry, it was a little bit misplaced in this. But moving on, though, again, just feel bad for the guy. Coinbase has announced the launch of its new banking license granted for the Bank of Spain. Some bullish news right here. And then Ben Armstrong came out and says, in all seriousness, I'll be back on the show tomorrow like normal. He says he had PTSD from TJ, what he's done to him. His company's been stolen. He was extorted for his Lambo. He's angry about all of it. And then he's exceeding his anger is the hurt. He's currently trying to sell one of his vehicles. He sold his Rolex watch. He's been trying to sell a bunch of stuff. I'm assuming he owes a bunch of people money. And he's trying to just get by right now. Wish him the best, though. But with Gary Gensler testifying in front of the House Finance Subcommittee, it says tomorrow, but it happened a few days ago. It was roughly about 4 hours and 14 minutes. It was a long listen. I ended up listening to the whole thing. That's why it took so long for this video to come out. But some of the comments are right here if you guys would like a read. Again, everything's going to be down in my comments for links. But U.S. Congressman says SEC Chair Gensler is refusing to turn over documents requested by Congress 7 months ago, warns of a subpoena. He says that he's the first chair that would ever have to give a subpoena to the SEC. He doesn't want to have to do it, but he will have to. And he's telling Gary, hey, make sure you're not the first SEC chairman to actually receive a subpoena from Congress. So we'll see if Gary complies with this. But he also wants to have information about being transparent with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried, warns of another subpoena because Gary Gensler's met with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX employees a couple of times prior to the collapse of the FTX exchange. He keeps on saying that cryptocurrency is the wild, wild west of fraud and stuff like that. But he had the guy right in front of him, had meetings with the guy who was basically the head of all cryptocurrency, especially here in the United States, because FTX, in my opinion, was the biggest exchange in the United States until its collapse. And this guy was having secret meetings with him and then now wants to say it's rifled with fraud. But you had the guy that was doing all of the fraud right in front of you. Again, obviously, do your guys' own research. There is fraud still going on in the markets, but if we had clear rules on the book, we could figure this out. Gary Gensler, again, with Bitcoin, kind of just played it off like, yeah, Bitcoin, yeah, is a not a security. He took a second to answer it the first time and then just agreed, yeah, I have said it in the past before, it's not a security, but refuses to say if it's a commodity. He won't say if it's a CT's responsibility or not. But this is the only coin that he would talk about, even again after Judge Torres' ruling on XRP. But this congressman right here calls to fire SEC Chair Gary Gensler, citing abuse of power and pushing woke political agenda. Obviously, I'd like to see Gary Gensler go. I'm sure several of you guys, especially if you guys are invested in cryptocurrency, would like to see him go as well. Kraken Exchange to launch a stock trading portion. Um, Again, I just, these crypto exchanges are going to keep on trying to diversify their business practices. I think that they should still stick with just crypto, but obviously they're going to keep on doing what they're going to be doing. U.S. Congressman slams Gary Gensler for attacking crypto. There's a lot of benefits for crypto. We see a lot of other countries outside the United States thriving because of cryptocurrency. And these are your third world countries right now, but first world countries can actually keep on going. The UK is probably the biggest one that's growing right now because in the first world country portion of because of cryptocurrency and technology. We'll see what happens though if the United States decides to get on board. Otherwise, we're going to fall further and further behind. OpenAI's ChatGPT can now browse the internet and is no longer limited to data before September 2021. So ChatGPT can basically use real world information to use its resources. In my opinion, I don't really know how I like AI because there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong with this. Again, do with what you guys will, but in my opinion, I'm not a huge fan of AI. I will never invest in an AI company, but I do know that people have benefits. Um, Matt Gaetz introduces a bill to stop sending taxpayer money to another foreign country. You guys can see it with the flag right there. I'm not going to say it. I've been shadow banned multiple times. Elon Musk fires ex-election integrity team for undermining election integrity, especially with the new election coming up. We'll see what happens, though. Coinbase receives regulatory approval to offer perpetual futures to international retail customers. U.S. Congressman introduces a bill to keep centralized records of all off-chain crypto transactions, which is beneficial in my opinion. SEC delays decision for BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF that happened yesterday. Obviously, we had the futures ETF that has already been approved by the SEC for Bitcoin and also Ethereum. We're waiting to figure out the spot Bitcoin ETF, though. The spot is just what the price is now. Hopefully, the SEC can do this because, in my opinion, this will drive up people buying Bitcoin, but also all other crypto and digital assets. SEC charges ex Goldman Sachs employee with insider trading, says he used Xbox chats to pass on trades to friends. Again, people are just idiots. The founder of Three Arrows Capital, founder of bankrupt crypto firm Three Arrows Capital, arrested in Singapore. And then the last thing on our Watcher Guru news is Google Cloud announces they're serving as a validator on the Polygon POS network. If you guys want to, though, again, 4 hours and 42 minutes. Sorry, I was off by 30 minutes. It was a long listen to. Maxine Waters and every other Democrat wants to basically praise him for what he's doing. They're asking him essentially what happens during the government shutdown. Who's not going to be able to be working? How can this go against protecting the average investor? And as well, he says some people will be working without pay, some people won't work at all. But obviously, tips and stuff can still come in, but nobody's going to be able to investigate those tips. He's right about that, in my opinion. If they're laid off or whatever, they're going to be short staffed, but they're not even doing their job to begin with. So, in my opinion, basically, if whether we shut down or don't shut down, I don't see the SEC doing anything. All they're doing is basically charging a bunch of companies right now, especially digital assets or crypto companies, with fraud. And in my opinion, it's completely ridiculous. And then he also got asked questions about climate change and climate stocks and stuff like that, and if companies should be required to say what their company can damage the environment, and that's going to help protect investors or give investors information. It was a complete BS shit show in my opinion. Did not really enjoy listening to it. Obviously, he never answers anything fairly and also beats around the bush with a lot of questions and sometimes just doesn't even answer those. But a must watch from Stuart Alderati, he's the chief legal officer over at Ripple. He says for hours, Mr. Gensler smugly evaded questions after questions, even laughing about how rich he is, until Rep. Torres took him out with a command of the law and a touch of South Bronx street sense. Gensler didn't know what hit him until it was too late. And he basically was asking him about how much money he's made while he's been in office. And he's like, well, I've also done well before and even after I was in office. And because he's held another position prior to becoming the SEC chair. It was a good listen to. Again, this isn't the whole thing. Again, this whole thing will be in the comments, or you guys can just do oversight of Securities Exchange Commission on Google. Just make sure it's the House Finance Subcommittee over here, and you guys will be able to get a good listen. Now, Brad Garlinghouse had a little bit of a speech today. If you guys want to listen to it, he talks about everything that's going well with the case. And he's also still in a lawsuit right now with the SEC. Him and also Chris Larson individually are, as well as Ripple itself. That portion hasn't been settled, but the XRP token in and of itself is not a security, according to Judge Torres. James K. Filan posts Ripple ended up hiring this attorney right here. And he's going to be on appearance on behalf of Brad Garlinghouse. So just another powerhouse attorney for the staff. Over for Ripple to basically clear their defense. And then the last thing right here, the doors just opened at the proper party. So there's a big light show, bunch of LED screens. You got the proper party right here. This place was packed. I unfortunately didn't get to go. I have a daughter. My first child's going to be born sometime this week, within the next 7 days, I think. And if I flew to New York, it wouldn't have been good. I hope everyone had a great time, though. Tomorrow, I'm going to hear a lot about what happened from a lot of friends that actually attended this, and we will be talking about this in the next video because Brad Garlinghouse did make an announcement there. Still have not heard yet what it was about yet. Make sure you guys tune into the next video. Put down in the comments what you guys want me to talk about next, and if you guys can invest with the big dog, stay on the porch. Thank you guys, and have a good one.